Hello and welcome to another episode of Tiva Drive. And this time around, for the first time ever, we're reviewing a Mazda. And that is because Mazda has finally come up with a plug-in hybrid after launching their mildly successful MX-30 full electric with a smallish 33 kilowatt-hour battery, which is very rare. It's still on the Mazda website. This is their second plug-in vehicle, and this is a plug-in hybrid. So this is the Mazda CX70 plug-in hybrid. This car exists also in a straight six with two different powers. This here plug-in hybrid is rated at total system power of 323, of which 179 are the electric motor, 189 is the engine. It's a 2.5 liter four-cylinder. What we have to mention is also the pricing. Strangely enough, the 70 is basically a 5-seat version of the 90. The 90 is an 8-seater or a 7-seater. This one is strictly a 5-seater, but it's exactly the same car, same engine, same length, same everything. The only difference is the third row, which the 70 doesn't come in. So it's kind of unusual. Another unusual thing is that the 90 3-row SUV plug-in hybrid is priced $4,000 cheaper than this 2-row SUV. I guess they justify. We looked at the the specs and the standard equipment. The 70 comes in with much more standard equipment. When you compare it with the gas versions, apples to apples, it's actually priced the same as the inline-six turbo with the same or similar performance specifications. You can get a base inline-six mild hybrid with 280 horsepower, which is much less powerful than this, for about $9,000 less. But if you compare it with the top of the line inline-six, they are priced the same, starting from $58,000 for a GSL, and this here, the GT, is priced at around $62,000, and it comes with a lot of equipment. Another thing we have to mention, and this is one of the best deals for a plug-in hybrid SUV. Why? Because it's so big. If you look at the car from the side, you can actually see the size of the car, and I'm 6'3", and look how large, how tall this car is, and how long it is. Get this. This car is 5.1 meters. We put it side by side, Mitsubishi Outlander. The Outlander is 4.7 meters. This is 5.1. So it's longer than the Outlander, longer than even the Palisade and the Telluride. Imagine that. It's longer than the X5 BMW and longer than the Mercedes GLE. This is actually sized kind of in between GLE and GLS, or between X5 and X7. It's an incredible size car for a 3-row SUV. So it's one of the most comfortable and the largest 3-row SUVs. And it's kind of one category up from its nearest competition. So the competition that is kind of priced the same would be a Tucson plug-in, Sorento plug-in, and Outlander plug-in. And they are all priced. The Mitsubishi is the least expensive at around $48,000, but the Sorento and the Tucson plugins are both priced around between $53,000 and $55,000, which is basically the price of the lower priced 3-row CX90 plug-in. This starts at $58,000, even though it's only 2-row, because it has much more standard equipment. So we won't do a walk around here, because we'll do it when we're standing next to the Mitsubishi Outlander that we're comparing it with. So let's just jump inside and give you the results of our testing in various conditions. Hello and welcome to another episode of Tiva Drive, and this time around we're comparing this brand new 2025 Mazda CX70 plug-in hybrid, as you can see, with this Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, which we previously tested and I have a full review of. But we wanted to put these two plug-in hybrid SUVs side by side to compare size, specs, etc., etc. First of all, spec-wise, the Mazda comes with its own plug-in hybrid system, as opposed to the smaller CX50, which uses a Toyota hybrid system. This is their own 2.5 liter four-cylinder, which produces 190 horsepower. Then you have the electric motor producing 180 horsepower, roughly, for a total system power of 320 horsepower, which is quite substantial. The acceleration is about 6 seconds, 0 to 100. The Mitsubishi total system power is 248, good for 6.6 seconds, so a little bit slower. The Mazda is also larger at 5.1 meters versus 4.7 for the Mitsubishi. The battery size, though, is bigger on the Mitsubishi, which is 20 kilowatt hours versus 18 roughly on the Mazda. Mazda range is 42 kilometers rated versus over 50 kilometers rated range on the Mitsubishi. In terms of the actual test results of Mitsubishi, you can view our full review video. So we're going to concentrate here on the our testing results of the Mazda plug-in hybrid. Let's compare the interior sizes now. Okay, so here's the interior of the Mazda CX70 and digital screens. As you can see, this is the GT version, so this is the top of the line. That's 62,000. The base GSL starts at 58,000. Now keep in mind that Mazda did something very unusual in that they call their 5-seater version CX70, they call a 7-seater version CX90. It's the same exact car, same length, same everything, except as you can see in the back there is no third row. You just have a very large trunk and only 5 seats. Where the Mitsubishi here, being even smaller car, but they come standard with the 7 seats, and it's a plug-in hybrid as well. So this, the 5-seater CX70 is priced from 58 to 62. This one here being the GT more expensive version. So more seat space on the Mitsubishi. Sorry about the mess. We'll jump in. I'm in a comfortable position now in the Mazda. And we've been driving it for a week, so we'll tell you all about our test results shortly. Let's jump in the back seat to verify the back seat space. Okay, so let's just throw the brush. It's been snowing heavily, been driving in deep snow, very cold temperatures, up to minus 15 Celsius. So you have these, the GT comes with window blinds in the back. You can see the very substantial trunk here with the cover. This is where the third row would normally be on the CX90 7-seater version. And here you get, as you can see, the blind that opens up. And you get that option on the top of the line Mitsubishi as well. And okay, let's show you the trunk space now. Okay, so let's show you the trunk space in the Mazda CX70 now. Here's the Skyactiv PHEV signature sign badge on the back. So you have here a bit of storage under the floor, and then further down more storage under the floor. So this is where normally you would get the third row in the CX90 version, which is obviously more expensive. So for the price of a 5-seater, the Mitsubishi gives you 7-seater, albeit it's a smaller car. Like we mentioned, it's 4.7 meters versus 5.1, and you can see it in the trunk size here. Okay, and then you have the charge port, which is only a level 2, and so this is your level 2 basically. Interestingly enough, there is a little spot here that would indicate that perhaps a level 3 is going to be available later. Either that, or it's sharing the charge port with the MX-3 Mazda pure electric, and they didn't want to put in a different port, so this could have been designed for the MX-30 pure electric. Either that, or maybe they'll introduce a fast charging option. So the Mitsubishi Outlander, we're going to show you their port. So the gas fuel fill is located on the driver's side, and here it is. You have to press a button to open it. The Mitsubishi, as you know, if you read our review, comes with a level 2, so it's charging on level 2 right now, and it comes with a CHAdeMO fast charging option up to 30 kilowatts. Not very fast, but still faster than a level 2 for sure. The Mazda charges at a maximum of 7 kilowatts on a level 2. Okay, so that's about it. Let's just quickly jump into the rear second row to give you an impression of the space. The seat in the second row moves back and forth, which is basically idea for the third row. So right now it's all the way back. and it's a decent amount of space for my legs under the seat, and also for my leg room. I can move my legs freely. I'm 6'3", 190 centimeters, so it's quite substantial. And then also the back of the seat reclines, as you can see. This is the basic position, and you can recline it quite a bit to modulate the trunk space. So not only can you move the seat, the whole bench, front and back, you can also recline the seats, which is kind of nice. The Mazda, this GT version, comes of course with the opening sunroof, as does the Mitsubishi. Okay, let's just quickly jump into Mitsubishi, being a smaller car, and see how that space works out there. Okay, so here's the interior of the Mitsubishi Outlander again, with the opening sunroof. As you can see from the top here, the interior is quite luxurious as well. So let me just jump in the front, and this is quite a comfortable position for me for driving. We've reviewed the interior in the full review of the Mitsubishi, so I wouldn't be repeating that, but let's just jump in the back seat and see how it compares with the larger Mazda. So here again, a little bit less room for my legs. The seats, there you go. Now I move the seat all the way back, and now with the seat all the way back, it has very comparable room to the Mazda. The seat backs, let me see if you can actually adjust the seat backs. Obviously you can just move the whole bench, and the seat back can be adjusted as well. But so here's the difference between the seat all the way front and all the way back, to allow for the third row to be unfolded. Obviously, if you want to have anyone in the third row, you need to have the seat all the way front, and then the second row passengers don't have very much space. So obviously this is where you can see that the Mazda is a longer, bigger car. This is more of a RAV4 size, more of the Kia Sorento size, where the Mazda is more like a Toyota Highlander size. Okay, so that's about it for the size comparison and spec comparison, and we're gonna jump into the Mazda to give you the test results and more spec comparisons with the Kia Sorento and this Mitsubishi Outlander. Okay, so here we are inside the 2025 first ever Mazda CX70. And as we mentioned, the only difference between CX70 and CX90 is the third row, which you don't get here. So we did show you the very large trunk. It's one of the largest in its category because the car is so long, 5.1 meters total. So this is where normally you would get a third row seat in an 8-seat or 7-seat version of the CX90. This CX70 is the same car, except no third row. Some of the things here, you see two digital screens. The dashboard is actually larger than the center screen for some reason. And another unusual thing is that this is not a touch screen. In some markets like Europe, the touch screen is available for certain functions with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. This is not a touch screen. So let's just go back. This is the main menu. As you can see, this is not a touch screen. It is available with wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It is also available with wireless charging. You have your mode button here, which we'll go through in a moment. You have your all the buttons, standard buttons for kind of like our Audi Q4. All the climate screen is here with all the manual buttons for climate functions, which we love. You have so again the wireless charger. You have two cup holders here, which you can cover up. Here is the kind of iDrive controller. That's the BMW speak. So you control this center screen through this round controller here. You have the home button, back button, etc., etc. Your handbrake, auto hold button here. So it is available. You just have to press it first, and then if you go into car wash, you have to deactivate it, of course. Your volume button and the programmable button. You have the storage here, which is not exactly huge, much smaller than our X5, for example. And then you have the controls for the rear passengers, the seat heating and temperature controls for the rear passengers. And so you only have the heating vents in the middle. You don't have vents on the B-pillar, and you also this comes with the blinds, manual blinds for the rear doors. And of course, you have the amazing sunroof. So now, basically, the 70. So this is one of the differences between the 90 and the 70. The 70s come standard with the sunroof, which you have to pay extra for the lower price 90. The only difference between GSL and the GT is that in the GSL you get a standard only the front half of the sunroof, so it's a regular sunroof with the manual cover, where this is a panoramic sunroof with only the front section opening, but you get this rear section with an electric blind. So the control for the blind is right here. There you go. So that's the difference between one of the differences between the base GSL and this top of the line GT CX70. Excuse me. Okay, so that's about it. Let's take you for a spin and tell you about our test results. We've been driving it for a week now. We had a couple of trips up north as well. So that's the other thing we have to mention. So before we go through the different modes, and then we want to show you the shifter, which is very unusual. A lot of reviewers commented on commented on that, is that it's very unusual in that the park is to the left, then you have to shift it right, and you have to put it in drive. The dangerous part of it is that when you put it all the way to the front, you think you're in park, but you're not. You're actually in reverse. So it happened to me a couple of times, and other reviewers too. So you have to go left in order for this to be in park. So that's kind of unusual. It will take some getting used to. But if you're switching cars often, you have to remember that this is different. So it can be dangerous. It happened to us a couple of times. Luckily, we were far away from any other obstacles. Okay, so let's put it in drive. And we'll tell you about the drive modes. So yeah, of course, this car, being the top of the line GT, comes with surround camera, surround sensors. Cruise control with adaptive is standard. Lane keep assist, there's no auto steer, there's just lane keep assist. There's of course cross traffic, all kinds of safety software, cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring, etc., etc. And so the drive will go as we start the drive. We'll go through the drive modes. So the button is here. So again, we love the fact that there is an actual button for various drive modes. So right now we're in EV mode. But if you change it, so you start. So let's just, because I'm turning, so you cannot perhaps see. So you have normal mode, which is kind of normal hybrid. Sport, you will hear the engine coming on. There you go. The engine is now on. By the way, there is no EV charge mode like on the Mitsubishi Outlander, for example. But if you stay in the sport mode, it will charge up the battery. In our case, it charged it up to about 75%. So it gave us about 15 kilometers EV range from zero. So it's kind of interesting. The normal mode, so the second mode is normal. It's like a hybrid mode. The engine still is staying on for now because I guess the engine is cold, so it needs to warm up. Okay, we're back in electric mode. So the hybrid mode will not recharge the battery. So it's basically specifically programmed to save gas. Then you have the EV mode, and of course the screen changes for every single mode. So this is the display for the electric. Now, you can change the display. This is the cruise control display. If you press this button here, it changes to a more standard display with a speedo in the middle, your battery state of charge, as well as fuel level, and the left side becomes your power band. And you can see here on the power band that you can only use the accelerate up to about half, which kind of makes sense because the apportioning of the gas and electric engines are about 50-50. So you can only push the system halfway through, and you can see the power band. If you push it through beyond that, the engine will come on. So you kind of, if you want to stay in all electric, you want to keep an eye on the power band and try not go above the you know, this middle point, which is indicated here. What we have to mention is because the motor is quite powerful. When you're in EV mode, even going up steep hills, where our X5, for example, would kick in the engine because it can't manage steep hills, this car would stay on in all electric, which is nice. 179 horsepower, that's quite powerful for the motor. And by the way, this is not the Toyota system, as we may have mentioned before. This is their own plug-in hybrid system. One of their other cars, the CX70, the smaller one, uses the Toyota hybrid system, but it's not a plug-in hybrid. It's a regular hybrid system based off the Toyota RAV4 hybrid. So that's the cross traffic alert system. So this is their own plug-in hybrid system. The battery size is 17.8 kilowatt hours. And the rated electric range is 42 kilometers. Strangely enough, it rates the 5-seater and the 8-seater exactly the same, which doesn't make any sense because obviously of the added weight of the third row of seats, which weighs something definitely. So you should be able to do much better on the 5-seat version, which this is the CX70 5-seat version versus the CX90 8-seat version. And it's one of the very few cars with 8-seat option versus being a 6 or 7. This one, you can have it in 7 or 8, and we're talking about the 90, of course. The only other cars that have the 8-seat option are much bigger cars, such as the Escalade or some of the other much bigger cars. So this is that's why it's one of the best deals in the plug-in hybrid SUV because of its size. It feels big, feels safe, has a very good performance because of the total system power of 323. So it's kind of similar in specs to the RAV4 Prime, you know, which offers 300 horsepower total system power and 18 kilowatt hours battery. This is 17.8, almost the same, and even more power with 323. The nice thing about this is that the similar versions of the gas and the plug-in hybrid are virtually priced the same if you compare the same specs. This version is actually quicker by half a second than the inline-6 turbo mild hybrid. So there's really no reason not to go for the for the plug-in hybrid version. And we see a lot of, I think Mazda is doing very well with both the 70 and the 90. For now, we anticipate that the 3-row 90 is going to be more popular because it's priced lower and it's less expensive. We're going to try and go on the highway so that we can demonstrate the adaptive cruise. There is no auto steer, like we mentioned. There is just lane keeping assist. So Mazda is doing very well. We see a lot of them on the road, and we saw quite a few plug-in hybrids, which you can, which have, as we showed you with the walk around, a few PHEV badges around the car, you know, in the back and on the sides, and of course the green plates, which indicate that this is a plug-in hybrid version, not the inline-6 turbo gas version of the car. So again, for the same money as the much smaller Tucson and Sorento plug-in hybrids, you get a much bigger car, one size category up, and with much more space for the second row, much bigger trunk, and so it is indeed one of the best deals out there for either 2-row or 3-row plug-in hybrid SUV. So bravo Mazda for this. You know, a couple of quirks we wish you would introduce, and we can put it on the information screen so you can see the efficiency monitor actually shows you how many kilometers you've driven in electric. So let's talk about the test results. So in very cold temperatures this week, we went from -15 plus the wind chill to above 0 temperatures. Today it's like +5. The indication of the EV range at full varied from a low of 16 kilometers when it was very cold to a high of 26 when it was warmer. So the rated range is 42 kilometers. So because it's the winter and the car is running on the winter tires, you know, we were not able to achieve anywhere close to that. However, we were able to go 30 kilometers in pure electric on side roads. The consumption in electric mode varies. You can see right now it's showing an average of 27.4, but that's, you cannot look at that because it decreases the electric consumption as you go into gas mode. So it increases the liters per 100 for gas, for the hybrid consumption, and it decreases the the electric consumption. So it's a little unusual. So anyways, the consumption on side roads without the climate in the winter with the winter tires was around 29, and then with the climate it was between 32 and 33 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And the best we were able to achieve was 30 kilometers. The worst was about 16 kilometers when it was super cold and the car was not preconditioned. And so in the summer conditions, the CX70 should be able to do more than its rated 42 kilometers, and better than a three-row because it's simply lighter. So that's about it. If you want to know about the gas consumption with depleted battery on the highway, it uses about 9 liters per 100 kilometers. And when we did the 150 kilometer trip with a fully charged battery, where the total electric mileage was 50 kilometers, so 30 in pure electric, then it went into the hybrid mode. But this system actually counts electric mileage while in hybrid mode. So after driving 30 in pure electric, we went to hybrid, and then we were still able to get another 20 kilometers out of the hybrid mode. So total 50 kilometers were driven in all electric out of the total of 150, and that produced an average consumption of 6 liters per 100. And as we mentioned, the final score in terms of electrical consumption is off because it recalculates it based on the total mileage. So that's about it. We really love this car. It's a first ever Mazda for us, and it's a really great alternative to plug-in hybrid SUVs. It's the best deal right now, we can say easily, even if it's missing some functions and maybe doesn't have the sorry, it's some crazy trucker going. And so basically we are impressed with the size of the car, the pricing of the car. It offers a lot for the money. So we definitely recommend that you should consider this if you're shopping for a full-size plug-in hybrid SUV, whether it's a two-row or if you need three-row, if you need 5 seats or if you need 8 seats. This is definitely a car, SUV to consider. So if you have any questions regarding our test, do not hesitate to comment and we'll try and answer your questions. As usual, do not forget to press the subscribe button on our channel to be informed when the next video will be coming up. Lots more pure electric and plug-in hybrid reviews coming to our channel. Thank you for watching, and again we have to, as always, mention big thank you to our sponsor, Condos and Castles Realty Inc. You can find them at www.condosandcastles.com. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next review. Okay, just a quick note, we forgot to demonstrate the adaptive cruise system. You activate, so we're still in EV mode, and you can activate it in any mode except the sport mode. So if you put it in sport, let's put it here. So let's put it in sport. There you go. We're in sport now. And when you try and activate, so this is the standard display. When you try to activate the cruise control in sport mode, there you go. So it goes into the cruise control dashboard display. But when you try and activate it by setting it, there you go, set. There you go. Sport mode canceled due to speed cruise control use. So you cannot use cruise control in the sport mode for some reason. I'm not sure why. This is a particularity of this Mazda CX70 and 90 cars. So it puts you in a normal mode in order to use, let's increase the speed to highway speed. There you go. Let's set it to highway speed. So now we're in normal mode. And when using the, excuse me, the cruise control, this is the only screen you can have. So it shows you the car lines and the distance. You adjust the distance here. There you go. This is the longest distance. And then you decrease it by pressing the button down. and you have to stay in this screen. You cannot change it. So in order to get the other kind of display with the speedo in the middle, you have to deactivate the cruise control. So whenever you're in cruise control, you have to be on this screen. So again, you can see the lines. It does not have full auto steer, but it does have lane keep assist. So if you try and get close to the left lane, it should correct you. It just vibrates the steering wheel, and then you get visual notifications here that but it doesn't seem to be correcting. Here's a CX70 passing us on the right. So yeah, it doesn't seem to be correct. It did correct. So it did correct, but it would be just bouncing you off the line. So let's try it again. There you go. It did autocorrect. Okay. So there is a lane keep assist, active lane keep assist, but it's not an auto steer system. So that's it. That's it for our demonstration of the Mazda CX70 and 90 adaptive cruise control, which by the way comes standard, and the lane keep assist, which also comes standard.